So here I am, first thing in the morning, in Providence, Rhode Island. It's my hometown. It's where I live right now. And part of the reason that I got into videography was to make travel videos. Me and my wife like to travel, and I wanted to start capturing some of those moments when we go abroad. What I wanted to do was actually get a video together to teach people or to show you what you need to look for when you're actually creating a travel video. I think that travel videos are actually a great way to start getting into videography because you could actually capture moments from yourself and your family or your friends, which is awesome, which I've done a lot of that. And I think I have something to add to this. I think that there's a lot of things that people miss when they're trying to get a travel video together. This is going to be for somebody who's a basic beginner, not for someone who's advanced, who knows all about videography, but you need to kind of know your settings in your camera. So this isn't to teach you about settings in your camera. This is more about to teach you some of the techniques that you're actually going to need in order to be able to do it. So this is like one of my favorite spots in Rhode Island. It's actually by it's called, I forget what they call it, but basically it's like a little pedestrian walk. It's a bike trail. It's probably for miles. But anyway, we all call it the East Providence Bike Path, but it goes all the way from East Providence all the way through the city. And it goes all the way down to, I believe, Newport, if I'm not wrong. What's really cool about this is that you got this pier. Not only that, it actually has in the far end over there, you can see the city. And then you get to see a lot of ships and stuff, which is pretty cool. And there's a giant troll here. There's an artist that does trolls all around the world. There's hundreds of them from what I understand. And he actually did one over here, which is pretty cool. So wanted to try to get it up at golden hour. So that leads me to the first thing. Try to film at golden hour. It's probably going to be the best time to get some of the most cinematic, some of the most beautiful shots you can get are going to be around that time. So either A, get up early. I prefer getting up early just because it's going to be a lot less people. Usually this is usually full of people, which is eerie actually. When I'm looking around, there's no one here. I prefer the early, but there's nothing wrong with doing it at dusk either. There is a lot of cloud cover today, which could either help us or it's going to actually hinder our progress here with this video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually lay over a montage of the last travel video I did for me and my wife in Scotland. It was, I think, a 2-minute video. I'll play some of it as I go to kind of point out some of these techniques. But for sure, number one is going to be trying to find a good time to film. So if you're traveling, it's a good idea to actually do that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I'm going to try to get some B-roll of this troll, and we will go from there. And hopefully this video comes out all right. So one of the first things you should come up with is to come up with an idea as to what you want to tell, like what the story is you want to tell. I know it's hard because when you're traveling, it's like, you know, what do you mean what story I'm going to tell? I mean, sometimes it's like the location. If you're traveling with somebody, maybe you want to see them enjoy it and kind of show some of the feelings they're having at the moment while they're there. That's always a good thing. I think also, you want to capture the scenery and try to like get it in a basically get it on film, right? Like if you see a moment of a bird flying, for example, but it just looks at, it's flying over a church. It's really specific to the place. I think that that's a good idea too. So try to come up with an idea as to how you want to, like what story you want to tell with the video. So if you hear some wind noise, it's because it's windy out here. But yeah, so like that would be probably one of the things that I would do is to come up with a story or, kind of figure out what you want to tell. When I say what kind of story too, you got to figure out like candid shots. Like you want to get stuff that's like happening, or like that are live, that is actually happening, not obviously nothing scripted. And you could script some stuff too, but for the most part, you want to get like candid things that are happening in motion while you're traveling. So another thing that I would do is probably shoot around the story and create flow with your story. So I'm here, I'm at this troll's location. I'm not just gonna film the troll, I'm actually gonna film stuff that's going on around the troll, with maybe the troll in the foreground, maybe in the background. Like if there's signage, kind of describing the location you're at, it's always good to kind of get that just to kind of set or establish a place. But for sure, like if there were people around that, I'd film that too. And it kind of helps build a story. So you have to look at every location you go to when you're visiting and you're sightseeing as like a potential short little story in your travel, in your travel video. So if you hit up like 7 or 8 cool places, you want to make sure you kind of have like, and you establish the location, you get what's going on in the location. And like I said before, you got to try to capture the moment and some of the candid things that happen, while you're there. I'm hoping the sunset's going to be freaking awesome, but we will see. It's a lot of clouds out here, so I'm not expecting much, but you can see it's starting to come up, which is pretty cool. This is a very industrial area. As you can tell, I got windmills and barges and boats all over here, but it's kind of why I like it here. Let's get into music. I think that music is probably one of the most important things you could do for your travel video. I do a lot of copyrighted music. Obviously, I like my regular hits, and I will use that if I know that it's not for any kind of it's not going to be used for any kind of paid work or anything, just so I don't have to do with the copyright stuff. But a lot of times it's better, to just pick the music you want. It's your video, it's your travel video. If you want to hear Kanye West, you put on Kanye West. If you want to hear, Taylor Swift, you put on Taylor Swift, and that's because that's gonna get you in the flow state of when you're editing. And I think that really helps kind of put the story together. So a lot of times I lay down the track, I listen to it, and then I'm like, all right. And then as I'm looking through my clips, I start to see what I want to pick out of it based on that song while I'm listening to it. So, yeah, so I think that's important. Another thing is that I shoot for the edit. So I know that's kind of like, what the hell does that mean? But I always keep the edit in mind. Like, what's that going to look like? So try to get your framing right. Put your framing markers on, use the rule of thirds. And when you're shooting, sometimes I listen to the song before I go out, or I listen to the song while I'm out on my AirPods, and I'm like, all right, yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. I'm looking for the best of the best shots that I could get while I'm out there. And it's hard because you're there to enjoy the location, not just to film. So, it's a kind of like a balance. What I tend to do is I'll go and shoot, and then I stop shooting. I just put my camera down. If I have a strap, I'll just strap it to my side, and I just don't worry about shooting until I see something that maybe inspires me, or if I see something that I want to try to capture. But I go out purposely to shoot at, the first day I'm there, the second day that I'm there. And if we're traveling, I kind of like record our travels. This last trip, I really didn't get anything as far as us driving and getting places, only because we were on a tour bus for some of it, and a lot of the rest of it I was driving. Even though my wife will pick up the camera, she's not comfortable driving. She wasn't comfortable driving in Europe because you have to drive on the other side of the car, and she was just not having it. So yeah, that kind of was out. But there it comes. Look, the sun is gonna come up. This is gonna look great. All right, cool. So I'm gonna get ready for this in a few minutes, so I can capture this. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah. Don't remember. Backlight yourself. It always looks better, so try to get some backlight every time you're shooting. And there was one more thing. Hold on, because it's gonna start raining here in a minute. Music choice, film while editing, pick a song. Oh yeah, pick the song before you start to edit. And yeah, so listen, I hope this video helps somebody. If you have any questions, please leave it on the comments below. I'll be glad to answer. If you want to add to this, I'd love to hear from you. I'm just a guy over here just trying to shoot stuff. Yeah, so until the next video, I hope you enjoy the montage. I'm gonna lay over. I'm gonna get some, if I get some good video of this before it starts to really rain, I'll get some good video of the troll and kind of put that up there, since we talked about it so much. And to the next one, I will catch you. I'm out. Peace.